So today we are going to study the principles of organizing. In the last video we have studied about the definition of organizing and the process of organizing. Now we need to study the principles of organizing one by one. See, this is the question which has been repeated continuously. It has came in the year 2015 MDU exam, 2016 MDU exam, 2017 MDU exam. Continuously this question is coming related to organizing elements, organizing principles, definitions of organizing. So from the paper point of view, this question is also very important. See, first is your unity of objective. Unity of objective talks about that every department has its individual objectives, but when you work, you have to work for the organization. Your organization has an individual collective objective. So whenever we are working to attain that objective. That means at all levels organization structure should be geared to achieve the main objectives of the organization. The activities of the different departments or sections may be different in nature and in approach, but these should be concentrated only to achieve the organizational objective, that is the main objective. Now second principle we have is specialization, principle of specialization. So principle of specialization says that we need to specialize the duties because we need maximum efficiency. We expect that the person who is efficient in a particular task, that person can perform the duties in a better manner. This will help us to fix up the right man to the right job and to reduce the time and resources, because we understand if for example a person who is from a finance department, he'll better able to cooperate and to command a finance department rather than marketing department, because we expect that person has experience and qualification related to that department only. Now third is coordination. So in the process of organization also, we understood that coordination is very much important for the smooth functioning in any organization. So we have different departments. We have production department, we have research department, we do have marketing department, finance department. So we have different departments. So if you do not have good formal communication, or you are unaware that what is happening in the subsequent department, you will not be able to coordinate. So coordination is very important for the smooth functioning of any organization. Now next principle is authority and responsibility. See, authority actually talks about the power we do have for taking the decisions. So many people are working in the organization, right? So for only, if we say that only one person having the full authority and that person only command and gives decide for each and everything, that will not be fruitful. So at every level we have to distribute the authority also. We need to divide the authority. To take the decisions, we need to divide the authority. Obviously maximum powers are with top level executives, but with the seniors members should delegate their authorities to the subordinates on the basis of their ability, so that they will be able to perform the responsibility with the help of authority in a better manner. Now next is your unity. Fifth principle is unity of command. So unity of command says that the organizational setup should be arranged in such a way that subordinates should receive the instruction or direction from one authority or one boss. So let us say if an employee is receiving, if an employee is receiving commands from various bosses or many bosses, in that case the person will get confused. He will not be able to perform the task in a better manner. So if the organization wants that, if he'll be able to perform the task in a more efficient manner, in that we expect that the person perform it by the command of only one boss, so that he will not be confused in the duties and responsibilities he is going to perform. Now next is the span of control. Now what does span of control talks about? It says that the principle is basically based on the relationship. Span of control basically means that the maximum number of members effectively supervised by an individual. We should not give a lot of people under span of control. We should not give a lot of people to be commanded by one person. It totally depends upon the nature of work. So if you're going to lead labors, in that case a lot of labors can be commanded by one person. But if you are dealing with executives, in that case 5 executives, 10 executives, and there should be one boss. We cannot give lot of executives and one boss, right? So we need to understand the span of control, how many people can be commanded by how many bosses. Obviously we need to have one boss, but under one boss how many people can be there? So we have left one principle in between, that is scalar chain. Now the sixth is the scalar chain principle. Now what does this principle says? That each and every person should know who is his superior and whom he is answerable. So what happens? There should be a clarity that whom he is answerable, to who is the person who's going to ask him question, so that he will be able to clear what are the duties and responsibilities he is expected to perform, and in what manner, what criteria he has to follow. And in case of any confusion, he'll be able to ask that person that what is the performer, what is the criteria through which he can go and perform the task. So what scalar chain says, that it actually establishes the line of communication, and the line of authority flows from the top level to the bottom level, right? So the next we do have is the exception principle of exception. So principle of exception says that when there is a need, when the employees are not performing their work accordingly, according to the according to the criteria, or according to the blueprint which we have provided, only in that case a superior should interfere in work. Otherwise what will happen, it will discourage the junior executives if we continuously interfere in the working procedure of that employee. So it is very important to understand that we don't need to interfere again and again. What happens, it automatically reduces the work of middle level officers to top level officers. Once you will you have reduced the work pressure, in that case you can probably use that time in the policy framing, in in the welfare of the organization. Now next is your balance. Now what does the principle of balance says? It says the work of one unit might have been commenced after the completion of the work by another unit, right? So whatever work you are doing, maybe there is a sequence. So whenever you do a work, you need to think about the person to the department with whom you are forwarding and from whom you are receiving the work. You have to maintain a balance. There is a sequence of work which should be arranged scientifically. You need to understand this, right? Next is your the principle of efficiency. See, what the principle of efficiency says is, you need to complete the task with the minimum members, minimum resources, in the minimum time, and in a very less time, in a correct manner, right? Efficiency says you don't need to waste so many resources. We don't want much people, because anything can be done, any task can be done, but here we need to understand that we need to do the work with less effort, less time, less people. Now next is your homogeneity, principle of homogeneity. See, principle of homogeneity talks about the principle of equality. So there should be equality in what? There should be equality in the procedure you deal with the workers. There should be equality while you are paying to the people. There should be equality while giving the environment, while while discharging their duties. There should be equality in the organization. This will help to motivate the employees. Now next is principle of continuity. See, principle of continuity says that we as an organization have to work for the development of the organization in organizing, we work actually for the development of the organization, keeping the future management in our mind. So the process is taken by every organization periodically. You have to continuous organize the next task, next objective, reoperation should be done, right? So the last objective we do have is the principle of simplicity. So principle of simplicity says the organization structure should not be complex. The organization structure should be simple. It is basically necessary to understand the person who is working in the same organization. It should not be complex for the junior officers to understand the organization structure. Once it will be once it if they feel that it is very complex in nature, in that case they will not be able to tell, or whatever they have in their mind, they will not be able to tell the higher authority. So the organization structure should not be complex. Everyone have an understanding that who is the line officers working with them, who is the top level, who is the bottom level, who is the subordinate, who is the boss. So the organization structure should be very, very simple.